before we get into the after college,
Right.
we gotta go. What's the most memorable experience or play or game in college for you?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, playing against UH and my
Okay.
brother. That was an
Okay.
experience like that was like experience like no other because I watched him play.
Yeah.
Growing up, it was like seeing, like it was like seeing, like an aura of like that's your brother, like that's playing on the other side, and it's like he has that extra glow on him because it's like, man, like I'm highlighting him because he's the guy on their team, and so like the coach. I'm leading up to that practice. Like that's what was memorable for me was because they, we have a scout team, and then they, every play they wanted that running back to go to the ground, and so like if I'm not taking that guy to the ground, it's like, oh, something suspicious going on. Like, you're not trying hard. It's your brother. Yeah. And so it's like, that when it comes to football, it's like no one's your, there's no friends. There's no, it's green and white versus black and red. So it's like, you gotta do what you have to do, and that was just a pleasure to play against him. I always wanted to do that. Talk smack. Just like actually like being in the game with him and kind of like watching him.
How many times did you guys play each other in your career?
Twice.
Yeah. And both times you were starting linebacker?
No, the first time I was on special teams.
Got it.
Yeah, and then I came in a couple plays though.
Got it.
So,
but the second time
was actually like more real. It's where like every play we're seeing each other.
Yeah.
So that was one memorable game, and then
so to fill in some of the gaps, Steven Lakalaka was the running back for UH.
Right.
And you're the middle linebacker for San Diego State.
Yes.
So it's literally pretty much you guys are playing on the field.
Right. So he's hearing my voice because I call I call the calls, right? Like tight left, field left. Is our calls, right? And then like when I'm saying that things and I'm like, man, like I'm playing chess against my brother.
Yes.
Like this is actually gonna like mind game, and then like, man, now it's football, like physical now. And so
how much smack talking was there?
There was a lot of smack talking
on the field in the game.
Yes. I mean, it's more. I mean, that's the way I play.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but like, what? It wasn't toward him.
Yeah.
Some of the smack talk wasn't toward him. It was sometimes it was for his teammates because, I always had a grudge against University Boy for what they've done with my scholarship, and so that's what all the mixed emotions kind of came out. Yeah. And so that animal came out of me, and like I've never felt like that before. That was my sophomore year, so that was kind of like my transition year. Yeah. Of that was when I was still starting. Yeah. So I was like it was like, wow, this is the feeling of this is my highest potential of like anger that I have when I'm playing. And I'm like, oh, okay, now you know your limits. You know how you can control it, and you kind of like each game is different when you like the emotions, because when you play guys like San Jose State or like you kind of don't have that want to play, but you gotta play. You know what I mean? So I mean, that was one memorable game that I truly treasure in my whole career, of course.
So was there another game or another play? Okay.
I mean, there's another game. I mean,
there's probably a lot.
There's a lot of games because, see, like, I mean, when I came to San Diego State, they weren't ranked at all, and so when I started playing for San Diego State, we became ranked. So a lot of the games are memorable because the fans make it memorable. Yeah. And so I would say, UH game, 2017. Boise State games are always the best. Okay. Especially playing on that blue field.
Yeah, the blue field.
Those are the best because that's when it's like they're always the face of the Mountain West. So like, and we're kind of coming up. Yes. And so it was like that. There was that rivalry that was coming on. Like, so that was a cool era that I was a part of. And then, of course, the bowl games. Yeah. Also the Stanford game. Games.
Those I do remember that. Yeah.
Yes. And so those games are memorable because I watched Stanford playing, watching Manti Te'o play against Stanford. And it's like, wow, like I'm in the same position like he's going to play. Like I kept watching film on him like, I'm going to just watch him and then I'm going to do what he does. And then like you ended up, I ended up doing okay, and you kind of like, oh, okay. So it's like, you know what I mean? You kind of like see the experiences that I've watched growing up, and you kind of like, oh, it's now coming live.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah,
it's all coming full circle. And so yeah.
What was the best atmosphere?
The best atmosphere?
Was it the Stanford game?
No.
Home game.
It was no.
Oh.
It was an away game against Penn State.
Okay.
Yes, and so the running back for their team was Saquon Barkley. And so this is before Saquon became Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, they have this running back, he was a 5-star coming out of, this is like our second game of the year, my freshman year.
Okay.
And like, oh yeah, they have this 5-star running back, he's all right. We're going to focus on the game plan, the quarterback is who we have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
And this at the time was Hackenberger. And so he was like going to be the top 5 pick coming into the next draft. And so we're kind of focused on him.
Okay.
Then when we get to the game, it's like Penn State Stadium is something else.
Yeah.
When we were walking through the tunnel, a lot of nasty words were being said to us. Oh, we're gonna run you guys out of the stadium. Stuff like that. And and then it's quiet. You kind of walk through the stadium, and then like since I played for a non-power 5 school, you don't play in those environments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like so you don't know what to expect. And then when you step out of the tunnel, like it's like
yeah.
And like you don't hear anyone near you. Like it's like
it's crazy.
Wow, it's like the Gladiator. Like
yes.
We're about to play Penn State.
Yeah.
All white. So it's like that's my first kind of break into college football moment.
What year was that?
2015.
So that was your freshman year.
My freshman year. That was Saquon Barkley's freshman year.
Got it.
And then that was also Marquise Goodwin was on the team.
Yeah.
So I remember coming on kickoff.
Okay.
Scot-free, like not knowing like who this guy is.
Yeah.
And like I go for the tackle and he just sidesteps me and he just takes it to the house. And I'm like, and then I find out like today Marcus Goodwin was Penn State's receiver and he was their returner, and I'm like, okay, I understand now. I understand now. But that was my freshman year, so that was my welcome to college football moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm running down kickoff and one of my guys is missing. Like you hear ooh, like someone got cracked back.
Yeah.
And someone's missing by me. My my teammates missing.
Yeah.
And I have to fill,
Yeah.
And I have to fill in for him. Yeah. So it's like.
But those are the moments that
are memorable. When,
what was one of the most memorable plays that you made?
Okay. My most memorable plays that I've made was I got to tackle Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Yeah. My second play in the game, and I'm kind of like going through the motion. It's like I made a tackle like on Saquon Barkley. You gotta realize that. And so like, oh, okay. And then that was one of my memorable plays. Not my first memorable play. And then, of course, my other memorable play was the interception against University of Hawaii. Yeah. And Cal Berkeley, I made a pick 6. I actually returned one to the house.
Was that at San Diego State?
That was my favorite play. That was at San Diego.
San Diego State.
San Diego.
Oh yeah.
And so I was able to score or have an interception in the same year with Cal Berkeley and UH. Mm-hmm. And so that's what gave me like that.
Yeah, that feel good feeling inside.
That came full circle.
Like. No,
now my grudges are away.
Yeah. So the last question dealing with football. So that your sophomore year when you played UH, this is your perspective. Who had the better game, you or Steven?
Of course, I have to say it. With the interception, put me over the top.
Yes, put you over the top. Yeah, one day we'll hear from Steven too. His perception of things might be a little different, but it's always good to see how everything.
He's told me this. He's told me this side of the story.
Yeah, so, he did. So we gotta hear that.
You gotta hear that part.
Yeah,
and that's understandable.
Yeah, So that's definitely some good things, and I mean you were very successful at San Diego State.